Last night, the Carolina Hurricanes were dealt a massive blow to the end of the regular season in the playoffs as Andrei Svechnikov has been ruled out indefinitely with a knee injury. This comes the night before they take on the Winnipeg Jets tonight at home in Raleigh. Find out all about Svech's injury, what that means for the team, and how they will play in tonight's game against the Winnipeg Jets in this episode of Locked On Hurricanes.
You're Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey there, Caniacs. I'm your host, Jared Ellis, and you are listening to Locked On Hurricanes on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And as always, thank you for making Locked On Hurricanes your first listen of this Tuesday afternoon. And don't forget to follow the show on Twitter at LO_Hurricanes and myself on Twitter at Jared Ellis _96. And folks, last night the Carolina Hurricanes were dealt a massive blow to this final stretch of the regular season and into the playoffs, as last night, I believe it was around 8:30, 9 o'clock or so, when news broke that Andrei Svechnikov was going to be out indefinitely. This is the thing that everyone is talking about right now, and it is a massive blow for the team. Andre, he obviously carries a massive load, would be an understatement for what he does for this team. And now to have him out for possibly the remainder of the season and postseason with a torn ACL. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is going to be tough. And they are going to be seeking a second opinion that could be coming as soon as today. Could be within the next couple days, but we'll know more about that as time goes on, and we'll obviously talk about that here on the show. But this is going to be absolutely brutal for the team. And you look at the Hurricanes schedule coming up. Again, Winnipeg tonight. Then we have Toronto after that. Then you have Philly again. Yeah, they're not a playoff team, but you saw how tough they played the other day. New York Rangers again, Toronto again, Boston, Tampa Bay, Detroit. They're vying for a playoff spot. Like, that's just the remainder of March. That's not even getting into April. And the Hurricanes, they are the guys that are still playing. They have got to step it up big time. And that's still not doing it justice. Obviously, you guys are fans. You know just how big of a role Andrei Svechnikov plays on this team when it comes offensively, defensively, just all around the ice, how big of a role he plays on this team. And to potentially not have him for the remainder of the season and playoffs, that's tough. And if the rest of the team doesn't step up big time, the Hurricanes could very well be looking at another first or second round exit. I'm not saying that is going to happen. I'm not saying that by any means. You look at who they went to the conference final with a few years ago. They can make a run without Andre. This is a better team than it was in 2019. But also, on the other hand, teams know how to play against the Hurricanes now. Other teams have gotten better, and they know how the Hurricanes operate now. I think a lot of that conference final run was the Hurricanes taking these other teams by surprise with how tough they played them. That's not the case anymore. People know how to play against the Hurricanes. They've had several seasons of film to watch. Same with, the guys on the team. Guys that were young kids then, like Sebastian Aho or Andrei Svechnikov, they were young kids then. Now they've been around for several seasons, and people know how to play against them now. And that is one thing that the Hurricanes are really going to have to fight against. Jack Drury has been recalled from the Chicago Wolves, and you figure he's obviously going to slot in tonight. He could very well be here for the remainder of the season and into the playoffs. That's just something we'll know more as time goes on. But the team as a whole, they have got to step it up. And you look at how the past few games have gone, we can't be having that. Andre's not here to bail the team out anymore. They haven't, we're going to talk about it more here shortly, but they have not scored in over 2 games. And the last goal they had was a power play goal from Andre. I go back to that game in Edmonton earlier in the season all the time. Andre had a hat trick, and the Hurricanes still lost because he was the only one out there doing anything. Everyone else was just along for the ride in that game. So to be down arguably your best player heading into this stretch at the end of the season, into the playoffs, man, brutal is an understatement. I know I keep saying that, but this is rough. And they have got to have everyone step up on that roster. Guys that may get called up from Chicago if someone else gets hurt, I cannot stress it enough just how important Andre is and how much these other guys have to step up to probably replace him for the rest of the season, let's be honest. If they're already thinking it's a torn ACL, even if he doesn't have to have his second opinion goes well, he's going to be out a while. And he doesn't have to have surgery. It's just physical therapy or whatever. He's probably going to be out the remainder of March, probably into April as well. He's still going to be out a long time. And with this stretch right here, it is, any way you slice it, it's going to be not great for the Hurricanes. Obviously, we know they can win without him. They have done it before. But he has, again, he's arguably their best player. So to not have him now, it's going to be rough. And that rough stretch, well, it's already started because we lost to New Jersey over the weekend. But now we know for sure what's going on. And that starts tonight with the Winnipeg Jets. And we will talk about how the Hurricanes can battle back with that and just what they got to do to make it competitive and score a goal. Right after this quick break, folks. Now, folks, the Hurricanes are going down a really brutal stretch starting with Winnipeg tonight. And if you're wanting to place a bet on that game or any of the other Hurricanes upcoming games, do so at FanDuel Sportsbook. And if you're a basketball fan as well, you want to bet on the Charlotte Hornets or your other favorite team, FanDuel is the place to go for that because the midway point of the NBA season is here, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scorers and threes drained. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with same game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to fanduel.com/locked on. That's fanduel.com/locked on to learn more. It's right down there. If you're watching on YouTube, that pretty little link right there. So make sure you are making every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Now, tonight against Winnipeg, again, no Andrei Svechnikov for the foreseeable future. So that is going to be a massive, massive blow to this team. But as I said, the team has not scored in over 2 games. It has been 8 periods of hockey since the Hurricanes have scored a goal, with that last goal being in that first period. Within the first, it was what, 3 minutes? It was like 2 minutes and something in that game when Svetch scored his goal. It has been a very long time since the Hurricanes have scored a goal. So that is going to be first and freaking foremost of what they need to do tonight against Winnipeg. Because, good Lord, they cannot continue down that road. Shoot, even if they lose tonight or in the next game or whatever, you cannot keep going down that road of not scoring in almost 9 periods of hockey. Like, it's crazy just how long they have been held off the score sheet. And yes, again, I know Philly always plays this stuff. I know how good Vegas is. I know how good New Jersey is. I'm not surprised by getting shut out in those games, especially New Jersey with not having Andre. But we cannot keep going down that road, especially in this stretch right now. Like, you got to be scoring goals. Like, we need that. You need to be winning these games. New Jersey is now tied for first in the Metro. Honestly, with Andre being out, it wouldn't surprise me if New Jersey now wins the division. But, we'll deal with that, as time goes on. But that is the biggest thing. They have got to score goals tonight, win or lose. They got to get on the score sheet. And a big part of that is, like I said, everyone needs to step up, but the top guys, like that top 6, they need to play like the top freaking 6 and score goals. That is what Sebastian Aho is there to do. That is what Marty Necas is there to do. That is what Seth Jarvis, Teuvo Teravainen, that is what those guys are there to do. And now with Andre not being there, they have got to step it up. The Hurricanes did not go after a goal scorer at the trade deadline like I and a lot of other people thought they should. They didn't do that. So now they're going to be relying on the guys that are on that roster right now. And then if another guy comes up from Chicago, they're going to be relying on those guys to do that. You can't make any more trades. You can't get Timo Meier now. You can't get Vladimir Tarasenko. You can't get those guys now. It's over. It's done with. You like your group, you really need to be liking them right now. And you need to have, I'm getting heated about it because I still don't agree with that move of them not going after a goal scorer for something exactly like this. One of your biggest, arguably your biggest offensive piece goes down for likely the remainder of the season. Now it's very, very frustrating. And again, they're coming off those back-to-back shutout losses, haven't scored in 8 periods. Like, that is going to be the biggest thing. They have got to show up offensively tonight. We know how good they are defensively. We know that. I'm not worried about that. And I'm not worried about the penalty kill because we know that right there, that's going to get the job done. Yeah, there may be mistakes, especially in that game against New Jersey. Calvin DeHaan had a really ugly one of losing the puck that led to a New Jersey goal. But as a whole, I am not concerned about the defense and the penalty kill. I am concerned about the offense and the power play. Power play as a whole has been on an uptick since the trade deadline with Shane Gostisbehere coming in. but it's still like it's got to be sustainable. And they are what I believe it's 8 for gosh, what was I believe 8 for 14 or 19 since Shane 8 for 19 on the power play since Shane came in, which is great. But they need to sustain it. They need to keep it going. They've been held off the score sheet in past 2 games, and yeah, your last goal was a power play goal, but come on, like everyone needs to step it up. 5-on-5, power play, all of it. They need to step it up and get the job done because it's very frustrating. And I am looking at again that top 6. I'm looking at everyone. I want everyone. If the Hurricanes are going to win the Metro, if they're going to make a run in the playoffs and not get bounced in the first or second round again, they need everyone. First, second, third, fourth line. First, second, third defensive pairing. Goaltenders. Guys you're bringing up from Chicago, they need every single guy to step it up right now to try to fill that Andre-sized hole. Okay? They got to do that. And again, I am looking at that top 6 big time right now. They have got to step up. I'm also looking at a guy like Brent Burns. Needs to step it up big time. He's your main offensive defenseman. He's been killing it. He's already tied the record from last season for most points in a single season franchise history by a defenseman. He's doing it, but he's really going to have to step it up now. I'm also looking at, again, everyone, but also Brady Shea. He's been a guy that has shown offensive capability in the past. Kind of want him to step it up a bit now as well and really like him and Brett Pesce, they can create magic. We've seen it. We need that magic. We really, really do. And I'm confident that they can. We know, it's getting, down that final stretch of the regular season. Jordan Staal really tends to heat up around this time of the year. And now with Andre being out and everyone having to step up big time, I could very well see Jordan Staal really heating up, really going for it and taking on a bigger load when it comes to the offensive side of things. I really could see that. But we got to see it. We really have got to see these guys step it up if they're wanting to win the Metro, if they're wanting to get a good playoff position, if they're wanting to get past the first round, second round. Like they've got to do it. They've got to step it up big time. And hopefully Andre doesn't have to have season-ending surgery. Hopefully he can get by with just some physical therapy for right now. But this isn't an injury to mess with. I've dealt with knee problems. And you've kind of seen the outlook on social media from folks that have had similar or the same injury. It's going to be a while. Surgery or no surgery, it's going to be a while. So we'll make it through, guys. We'll make it through. I know I'm getting frustrated with this because this easily could have been prevented if they went after a guy like Timo Meier at the trade deadline. But, it is what it is. And one thing with the Hurricanes tonight is, we're looking at, how, the lineup may end up shaking out now with him being out. The Hurricanes are also operating on that every other game rotation with their goalies. So we will dive into my lineup predictions for tonight's game right after this quick break, folks. Now, folks, it is very important to be taking care of yourselves. And a big part of that is a good multivitamin. And Athletic Greens can really help you out with that Tons of people take some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with high quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb. AG1 is a small micro habit with big benefits. It's the one thing you can do every single day to take care of yourself. Guys, it's gotten cold again. It was that fall spring here in North Carolina, so a lot of folks aren't going out right now. And a big part with Athletic Greens is that your subscription comes with a year's supply of vitamin D, which is really important when you're not going outside so much. And another thing with them is that it's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy free, or gluten free. Athletic Greens is going to work for you, and it contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, or artificial anything, while still tasting good, and supports better sleep quality and recovery, supports mental clarity and alertness. It's the one thing with the best things. Athletic Greens uses the best of the best products with the latest science and constant third party testing. It has really helped my digestive system get straight, really trying to be healthier this season or this year, and obviously this hockey season as well. And one thing I like to do with my athletic greens is put in some lemon juice and give it an even better flavor. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1 year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Now, looking at the lineup for tonight's game, we are going to double check just to make sure the Hurricanes have not made an official one yet. I don't believe they have, because usually I'd probably get a notification about it, folks. But again, they are likely going to be sticking to that every other game rotation for their goalies. They have not made an official announcement for the lineup tonight, but if they stick to that, that would be Freddie Anderson in net tonight, which personally I think is probably the best move. That's obviously no slight to Piotr, but following that game, a big thing I did say with him last week was I really want to see him keep his emotions in check. And everyone was frustrated after that game, but he really showed it. Like when the game was over and they were kind of walking off or skating and walking off the ice. I could tell he was very, very I mean, obviously everyone, but you could tell a bit more so with him. And, yeah, he, gave up 3 goals. The Hurricanes were shut out. Again, I get the frustration, but, I feel like Freddie is the better move tonight because I could see Piotr, getting pretty frustrated early on, especially if Winnipeg were to like score first. I could see him getting pretty frustrated early. So I do think Freddie is the better move here tonight. And as far as the rest of the lineup, I imagine it will be pretty similar to what we saw in New Jersey. I could definitely. So what they ended up doing was putting Puljujarvi there on that top line. I could potentially see that happening again. I think he'll likely be on somewhere in the top 2 lines, whether it be Jarvis Aho Puljujarvi or Nature's Kotkaniemi Puljujarvi. He's gonna be there in those top 2 lines tonight somewhere. It's just gonna be a matter of like who like flips out or switches out with him. Because not gonna have Svetch. So Puljujarvi is definitely going to slot in somewhere up there. It's just going to be a matter of where. I kind of feel it would likely be on the top line alongside Sebastian Aho, just with their history and chemistry. That's what I would say. That's what they did in the last game, but again, the last game did not go well. So I could also see them trying him out on the second line and just trying to see what fits. and what works. So that's really a coin flip for me. As far as the third line, that's going to be the same. That's going to be Martinook, Stahl, Foss. On the bottom line, I think that will likely be Nazin, Stastny, and Drury. I think Derek Stepan is still probably the odd man out, but we'll just have to wait and see there. Jack Drury could very well be the odd man out. We'll just have to wait and see on that. But I imagine with him getting recalled last night, we'll probably see him play tonight. But we'll just have to wait and see on that. Like Puljujarvi, I think that's a bit of a coin flip. I'd probably, again, put my money on Puljujarvi alongside Aho and Drury there on that bottom line. That's what I would say. But ultimately, we're just going to have to wait and see till later on tonight. As far as the defense goes, Jalen Chatfield is still out. Hurricanes are really having it bad with injuries right now. So your bottom pair will still likely be DeHaan Gostisbehere, with the top two being Slavin Burns and Shea Pesci. I don't see where that changed. I really don't see them playing Dylan Coghlan unless it's absolutely necessary for the remainder of the year. And even then, how good is that going to go? Because it's been so long since he played. So, that is what it is there. But hopefully we'll get Jalen Chatfield back soon. Still haven't really heard anything on him. And as far as when we could potentially see him back, other than it won't be a long, long time. So, it is what it is there with that stuff. These guys, at the end of the day, I want these guys to take the time that they need off so they can get better and be ready to go for playoffs or next season. Svetch, Chatfield, Ronta, obviously they're not playing at all this for the rest of the season, but Gardner and Kasha, I want those guys to do what is best for them. Those last two guys probably going to retire, but that is what it is there with those guys. But Svetch, Pacioretty, Ronta, Chatfield, like these guys, they don't need to rush anything and do what they need to do to get better 100%. As frustrated as we get about this stuff, ultimately their well-being and their health is what comes first. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes with Svetch and all the other injuries that the Hurricanes are dealing with, and tonight's game against the Winnipeg Jets. And we will talk about how this game goes, and if we have any more updates on Svetch, Chatfield, Ronta, anyone, all in tomorrow's episode of Locked On Hurricanes. So make sure you are following along on Twitter at LO_Hurricanes, myself on Twitter at Jared Ellis _96, and subscribe to the show on YouTube. And I will talk to you guys in tomorrow's episode. And as always, let's go Canes and get well soon, Svetch.